Well, hello and welcome back to the Excellent Educator Recruitment Series, a LinkedIn showcase presented by Diversity in Ed. This series is to spotlight and showcase school districts that are doing incredible work to recruit, hire, and retain excellent educators. Today, we are featuring Erie's Public Schools, and I'm thrilled to be speaking with two key leaders from the district, Emily Bizzarro and Ken Nickson Jr., about how Erie's Public Schools is shaping the talent strategy and how they are aligning their culture, recruitment, and retention efforts to support student success in a diverse community. As many of you know, Erie's Public Schools serve roughly 10,000 plus students across 16 schools in Erie, Pennsylvania, and has committed to engaging students meaningfully in their learning while navigating the complexities of educator recruitment, retention, and equity. Today, we'll explore how the district is building an inclusive workforce, strengthening culture, and ensuring that the people side of education is as intentional as the academic side. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge Erie Public Schools' new superintendent, Dr. Natalie Gibbs. And we know with new leadership comes new momentum, and this transition aligns with the district's continued commitment to strengthening its workforce, elevating student outcomes, and building a thriving culture across all schools. So Ken, Emily, thank you so much for being here. I say we dive right in.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I think you all provide some great insight for candidates who are considering the opportunities that are over at Erie. And I think this will be really good for them as a start of their research. So Ken, let's start with you. As a leader, and you're very much involved with recruitment and retention. During moments, of course, districts nationwide are competing for strong talent, right? So based on your recruitment and retention plan, sort of the day-to-day work, can you walk us through a couple of key strategies you're prioritizing now, especially around attracting new educators?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, I do want to say thank you again. I know Emily and I are both very thankful to be able to be a part of this and share a little bit about what Erie Public Schools is doing to build out our recruitment force, also retention as well. So I would think the first strategy that I'd like to share is, we do have a teacher action plan. Teacher recruitment action plan, One of the key pieces is the homegrown approach. So I do like to point out, even though this isn't necessarily going out and getting folks that are already, degreed or actually have their certification, we do have a local homegrown approach strategy, which is we partner with Penn West University. We have an adjunct professor that comes into our schools. Right now it's housed at Collegiate Academy. We have 19 students that are taking that dual enrollment. So it's a free internal dual enrollment for them. And they're doing educator-based courses. So I think that's one main way. And what's nice, and the only reason why I wanted to throw that out is because of the fact that those students that, we've been doing this for going on 6 years. And so that first cohort is wrapping up, and they should be graduating, and the hopes to come back into Erie's Public Schools. So it's very exciting right now. And then it should just continue to go year by year. The other key pieces that we're doing is, definitely targeting the folks with the alternative certification. So those folks that have degrees and they start to maybe they're in criminal justice, maybe they're in banking, et cetera, but they've kind of got a pull or a tug to see what education is about. Our district has definitely taken full advantage of some of those folks and bringing them in. Getting some experience on emergency permit, seeing what it's like. And then we have a great ability to help folks get back into their coursework and get their teacher certification with a phenomenal reimbursement plan that we have in partnership with our union, which is a great opportunity for our folks. I think I would say past that, then it's really about definitely going after all of our local universities and colleges, right? We have 4 that are right around us, and really being intentional about recruiting those folks, making stops at the university, making sure we're attending fairs. And then I would say, on a broader scope would be to really target folks like you, in diversity and ed and all that you all do, and being able to get us more globally out there, just having a really broad reach. And then having the awesome ability to post jobs, to get people familiar with our website, and also, to be part of those virtual recruitment fairs and get to meet folks and have conversations and chat. I feel like those have been key steps. And I don't want to take it all because I know HR, I know they've done other key pieces. I know we do a lot on Indeed, a lot on LinkedIn as well. So those are some of the steps that I would say have gotten us some success.
Wow, that's wonderful. No, it sounds like a lot, and it's exactly what they need. You're defining key point places, places where the candidates can find you, whether it's on college campuses for those new grads or looking at those experienced level educators. They know where to find you. We'll also include that information in the article on LinkedIn. And so, Emily, let's pull you in on a conversation. There's so much I can ask in terms of the support. I'll return back to you in a second, Ken. But Emily, from your vantage point as the emergent HR and talent in the department, what are you observing about how these strategies play out on the ground? Like, what are new hires telling you, or what patterns are you noticing to help reinforce or shape HR, their team approach?
So what I hear from a lot of candidates and a lot of our employees is that what they truly appreciate about the district is that there is a chance for that upward mobility. And if the position isn't a perfect fit for them, we are certainly willing to work with them finding a better fit. I mean, there's plenty of different positions to choose from within the district, non-instructional versus instructional. You see, we have our teachers, we have our bus drivers, we have teachers' assistants. So there's a lot of different avenues that they can take. And even if it wasn't something that they had originally thought of in the beginning, sometimes they move to something and end up liking it even more than what they had originally anticipated. So that's something that I do hear from a lot of EPS employees as well. But a very firm focus on upward mobility is what I hear as well, and how HR is willing to work with our candidates and employees.
Wow, that's fantastic. As a matter of fact, you addressed two issues I was about to ask of Ken or yourself. Either of you can answer this. One would be around the upward mobility or the career opportunities, advancement. Educators are always looking at how that's possible and what that entails for them. But the other thing, and certainly touch on this, Ken, jump right in. But the other thing I wanted to point out is we know there's a lot of career changers out. We've had a lot happening nationwide when it comes to unemployment, and that rate is just soaring. And folks are reconsidering some of their career options, like maybe they want to become an educator now, and always have been, but just never did. They had a finance background or degree. Are those candidates also welcome? Is there a pathway for them as well within your district?
Yeah, I mean, I would say absolutely. And shout out to Emily for the upward mobility, upward movement, right, model. That's definitely part of what we're all about. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The alternate certification, those folks that are in long as they have the degree, that's the key, right? Like, having a degree is huge. I mean, I do run into folks that have the associate degree when we hit these different fairs and just in passing in the city or in the community. And it's always tough because we don't have something specifically for them. We do have community colleges and local universities that I would definitely always connect those folks to. But yeah, when you get these folks that are just kind of having a career shift, that, and they, maybe they've been in a daycare facility, or they've been, maybe they've been a teacher assistant. We do have some of our teacher assistants that, have been in classrooms and doing the nitty gritty, and they're like, what, I want to manage my own classroom. I want to do my own lesson plans. We start to really build that efficacy among them, self-efficacy, to really go ahead and say you can pursue this. Once we get folks to a degree, though, we definitely have the ability for them to just pursue, get reimbursed for course completion, and they can also do that at the master level as well. So it's a great opportunity that we have. That's definitely, we've seen a lot of folks start to come back in, take advantage of that emergency permit, or just have that degree and then find that specific spot that fits is their best fit. So maybe they do have a math background, but maybe they found their niche is more in special education and they want to be more of an autistic support teacher now. So we definitely have that flexibility, and we'll push folks that way. The one thing I want to throw out real quick too is, just over the last year, I mean, a big piece, as you know, is pay, right? So, the number one thing is how you make people feel. People want to feel appreciated. They want to feel valued. They want to feel like they belong. They want to feel like they have a voice. I mean, that's number one, right? But then we know the real deal is when you start X and O's and you're looking at different districts, pay is very important. So, we have made ourselves far more competitive over the last year, moving our salary pay up almost $10,000 more dollars.
Wow.
And then having the reimbursement piece to $10,000, we have flex spending annuities. We probably have one of the best insurance packages in the city, right up against government jobs, or maybe one of our higher stakes 500 Fortune companies that are local. We can still give you a better insurance package. And I think some of those things are what really start to draw more folks in.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the first questions, or most common questions asked, and it rightfully so. People really want to know that they're bringing their credentials in, their experience, their passion, and how they'll be compensated for that, and especially with long term. And just because of the conversation, we don't have as much time as I hope. We will revisit this because I think it requires more depth to the conversation, and we can have for those candidates to learn more about retention and maybe even tapping into some of your numbers. But Emily, before we wrap up with the question I have for you, Ken, let's hop under your other part of your umbrella, which is your work in equity and diversity, because that sits at the intersection between the people, the culture, and the student outcomes, right? So how do you see the district's recruitment and retention strategies pretty much aligning with the broader equity goals?
Yeah, so I would say, knowing the importance of our classrooms, knowing the importance of our students, and knowing the importance of our families. And when I say that, the importance is that a lot of our families are of color. We're an urban district. We're an inner city district. Majority of our students, I believe, we're around 70% plus are of color. So we have a large turn. We have, of course, African American is our largest population, followed closely by our biracial population. Then we have a Hispanic population, but I think more than anything is our EL flux. So we have a lot of students. I think we have over 50 languages, multiple different ethnicities, so I think that's where, when you ask about the district and the importance of getting more diversity or getting more equity or getting more inclusion in place, I think that's what drives us, is to make sure that our own kids see themselves in the people that are in front of them. And that's bus drivers to cafeteria workers to custodians to teachers to administration, all the way up, guidance counselors. We want our students to look, see, feel, and know that they're connected. And I think on the other note to that, a lot of knowing that in education, majority of educators, especially like an elementary building, is 80% of those going to be white, female, from a suburban or rural background. And so then just making sure that we are giving those individuals the necessary tools and skills to be culturally competent, to understand what it is to be a kid coming from the projects of the townhouses, or a kid coming from a two-parent household that just happens to, they live in the city, and that's the dynamic that they have. So just being able to really connect to those folks, and then more importantly, build a rapport and even a stronger relationship. I think that's where those key pieces are, and why we want to focus so much on diversity and equity and inclusion when it comes to recruitment and retention.
Right. Wow. I tell you, that's really powerful, because it's really important for the candidates to know, and I've said this time and time again, is one of my favorite go-tos, is they don't have to check their identity at the door when entering your district recruitment office, HR department, for their interviews. Because as you had mentioned, we're partners. We've been partners for many, many, many years. I know the work that you all are doing, the hard work that you're doing to reach excellent talent, and for your students. And that's like number one priority. And I know the new superintendent clearly supports that as well. So thank you for pointing that out.